friends, welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I am Christine, your host, and today I want to talk to you about setting yourself up for success. It's not enough just to want to succeed and have our goals. We have to have a plan in place to get there. You can't get to a destination that you don't know where you're going, right? So one of the things that has helped me in this journey and has helped my clients is to really plan one day a week to set aside some time to make some grab and go snacks that are protein rich and are able to fuel our bodies to keep on trucking. So that is the goal of today. So we'll go into the kitchen and I'll show you some good things. Here I am in the kitchen. And first thing we're gonna do is look at some options that you don't need to do anything with. You can literally just buy them and grab them to go. So this, I was inspired by my grandson. It is a low sugar option, has a good amount of protein with real fruits and veggies, great to go. Cheese sticks. While they're a little bit higher in fat, they're still a great option. Still has a good amount of protein in them and you can take them to go. You can get the low fat ones if you wish. I'm not a big low fat person because I think our body needs some natural fats, but in that case, it's not too bad. Some beef jerky. Make sure your beef jerky has no sugar added. It's a great option to go. Some of this, I really like this brand. It's the Good Culture cottage cheese. So it's got some probiotic properties to it. And it is also a great thing to go. It's got 120 calories and 17 grams of protein. And then we move on. This is just a plain Greek yogurt that I got from Lidl. If I'm reading this correctly, it has 18 grams of protein. And again, you can just grab it and go. Then we have individual cottage cheeses. If you can't get the plain one and you like flavors, you can get this Daisy cottage cheese with the flavors. Try to get some that are lower in sugar, but they are a great option as well. And then we're going to move on to great things that you can make ahead and then grab and go. So see you in a minute. Alrighty, let's talk about some rather cooked options and more prep options. So I love to make hard-boiled eggs at least once a week, have them in the fridge ready to go. You can use them as egg salad, you can just use them as hard-boiled eggs, you can stuff them, there's a million ways to do it. But I love to use an egg cooker or use an Instant Pot so you don't have to sit there and time everything. So just pour my water in, I set my little timer, and while that's going, it takes 12 minutes. I'm gonna show you how to do a nice Italian white bean dip. That's super easy, super tasty, and it gets better as the days go by. So this is 1 can of Great Northern beans that are drained and rinsed. And then to that, I'm gonna add some fresh herbs. You always wanna add an element of freshness. So I've got some fresh picked rosemary that I got out of my garden. I live in a zone where you can get that all year round. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slice off some of that. And you don't need too much, it depends on how much you like, but enough that you've got a good amount of flavor to it. And remember that it's gonna get stronger over the next couple days. So this makes quite a bit. And I'm not mashing them, I'm keeping them whole. And then I've got my basil. And we're just gonna shift it out, we're gonna bunch that all up and just chop that, kind of rough chop it. And this is winter basil, so it's not super hardy, but the flavor's still great. And then we're just gonna pop that in there. And then we're gonna add some good quality olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. We'll just use eyeball for the moment. And then I've got some rosemary salt to give it just an extra pinch of rosemary. So we're just gonna give that a good sprinkle of rosemary salt, or 2. And then we're gonna use some fresh pepper and a little bit of white pepper. White pepper I find has a little bit less pungency. It gives it that really nice smoothness. Now maybe I can't find it, in which case we won't use it. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. That's how it usually goes. Just a little mix of that. And then we'll just give it a little mix, and if we need to add more olive oil, we will. Don't mind me, I'm gonna use a knife to mix it because I didn't grab a spoon. And we may wanna add some dried herbs because I don't think there's enough in there. We're gonna add a tiny bit more olive oil. You wanna be able to see that it has a little bit of olive oil soupiness to it. You remember that you're not eating all this at one time, right? So this is just a little spread on some vegetables or on some whole wheat or on sourdough bread. So it's not a huge quantity at one time. So it is okay to add a little extra. We're gonna add some dried Italian herbs with a little bit, this has a little bit of crushed red pepper in it. So if you don't like, that's okay. Normally I would add garlic too because it's a garlic heavy item, but I am really sensitive to garlic, so I can't have it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of green onion to it just to give it a little bit extra punch. see that I have ever-growing green onions. I put them in a little jar of water, and then I use them, and then they keep growing. So it's perfect. I always have it available. We're just gonna snip some right into there. So I don't have to cut too much of it. I don't want too much, I just want a little bit of that flavor. There we go. And then we'll put that back to continue growing, and we're in good shape. And we'll give it a good mixy mix here, and we're good with that one. Now you could add a little bit of Parmesan cheese if you like it. There's umpteen million ways you could change it up. This is just the basic recipe. All right, so from there, I'm gonna move over here. And then from there, we're gonna do a little cake, because sometimes you want something sweet instead of savory for your snacks, but you still want that good protein in there. So we're gonna put a whole nice ripe banana in there, and we're gonna add 1 egg, and then we're gonna blend it up. There we go. With 1 packet of protein powder, or 1 good scoop of protein powder. This one is Chocolate Shakeology. That's what I have on hand. The other one that I like that is plant-based is the Complete Juice Plus one. I like that one as well. But for this particular one, I really like this one better. It's a little bit stronger. Sometimes I'll add some dark cocoa powder that's unsweetened just to give it a little more boost. But for now, this is great. So we'll go ahead and we'll blend this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so here is our batter. I'm gonna go ahead and microwave this for 1.5 minutes, and you'll see I get a nice little chocolate cake that we can take to go, or we can have it while it's still warm, and you could add a dollop of Greek yogurt on it and even bump up that protein more. But this has 22 grams of protein, so it's a good snack. It doesn't have any added sugar. It's a great way to go. Alrighty, here is our cake that's all done. It's nice and moist. You can see that little bit of moisture in the center. Let's talk a little bit more about cottage cheese. This is on my sourdough bread that I make about every 2 days. It takes 2 days to ferment in the refrigerator, so I make it, it ferments, and I make the other ones while we're waiting. Now to this, I'm gonna add a few Guatemala olives. I love olives. That brininess is great for your gut. And then I'm gonna add some of those white beans. Now you could eat it just as it is, just as a cottage cheese bread, but it's really great as a vehicle to get extra flavors in there. So how about that as a snack? It's so good. Honestly, do not underestimate the power of a good cottage cheese bread. You could do a bagel seasoning, you could do all kinds of things with it. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about some Greek yogurt. And we're gonna add a little bit of protein powder to that as well. We'll get a spoon. We want about 3/4 cup of yogurt, which is about a serving. So there we go. And then we're gonna add, this time I'm gonna use this Chocolate Complete, but you can use whatever protein powder you like. I just mix it up. I'm gonna add a little bit of that protein powder. And this time I'm gonna add a little bit of dark cocoa, unsweetened cocoa, just to bump up that flavor a little bit. And add a little tiny splash of it there. There we go. And then, take that out of there. I'm going to whisk it. Probably should have gotten a bigger bowl for this, but we'll just make it work. We're just gonna whisk all that protein powder into that yogurt. And you might need to add a little bit of almond milk or a little bit of liquid to it, depending on how thick your protein powder is. But what we're looking for is a mousse consistency. You need to tap it out a little bit. And just continue whipping. I definitely should have a bigger bowl, but make it work here and just tap it. Now, if you added a little more liquid, obviously it would be a little thinner, but I really like this thick texture. Let's put that over here. We'll go around and clean up our sides. Just make sure we get all that yogurt mixed in with that chocolatey goodness. Let's give it a taste. Yep, it's really good. This comes in, you've got 17 or so grams on the protein powder and on the Greek yogurt, so you're looking at about 35 grams of protein right here. You can pack that up in a to-go container, take it with you to work and have it as a snack. Or, to be honest, you could add some stuff to it and have it as lunch. It's a great way to go. Okay, last thing we're gonna do is make some hummus. So let me get everything together while our eggs are just finishing, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, now this is one of my very favorite things. I love hummus. I'm Lebanese and I grew up with hummus in every state and form you can have it in. So 1 can of organic chickpeas. I drained off most of the juice. I left a little bit. About 1/4 cup of good sesame tahini. Go. The juice of 2 lemons mixed with cold water. So I've got a couple tablespoons of cold water in there, which we may need to adjust to see how it comes out. And we're gonna blend this, and then we're gonna add in some olive oil. And we're gonna add some salt and pepper, because we always wanna have good flavor. So a couple good pinches of salt, and a little bit of cumin. We'll call it cumin, just a tiny dash of it. Okay, there we go. About 1/4 teaspoon. All right, so I'm gonna get the lid for this, and we're gonna blend it up, and I'll show you what you're looking for in terms of texture. Like that. I'm back. All right, it's gonna be loud for a second, but I wanna do this on screen. I don't normally do that, but I want you to see the texture of it and how much olive oil we'll need. And once it starts, we're gonna take a look at this, and you start to see it's a little bit chunky still. We're gonna go ahead and add that olive oil now so that it can emulsify. That's what we're looking for, is for it to be nice and shiny and emulsified. Again, don't worry so much about, you can use about 1/4 cup of it, about how much you're using, because you're not gonna eat all of this at one time. It's gonna come out a little runny, and it will thicken up over time. That should do it. All right, let me pour this out so you can see. Again, it's gonna be a little runnier than what you're buying at the store, because that's been sitting around for a while, and it will thicken up over time, but it should be pourable and really creamy smooth. Now in my family, it was always served with pine nuts in the center and a little drizzle of olive oil around the top. So we're just gonna go give it a little drizzle. If it wants to cooperate, there we go. And then it's great for vegetables. It's great to put on roasted vegetables. It's not just to stick on bread, right? You can have it so many ways. It's terrific. I love it on chicken. So use your imagination. You can use it any which way, but it's got great protein, great fiber. It's a great way to go. It gives extra flavor. A couple more things I want to talk to you about. Tuna. Tuna is packed with protein. Now, it's not something I like to eat all the time, but it definitely can be a great snack. You can take it with you as is. If you're a tuna lover, you can have it just right out of the can on something. If you're not a tuna lover, then I would suggest blending some cottage cheese, mixing it with your tuna, add some celery, add a little bit of mustard, add some onion to it. You're making a tuna salad, but you're not really using mayonnaise, so it has a little bit more pack of protein, but it also has some good mellowing flavor, so it's not too strong. Now today at the market, I saw this one. I've never had this one before. It's fillets of tuna packed in olive oil. I'll let you know how that one comes out. But I hope I've given you some good ideas today on different protein snack options. This will be for a couple episodes, because I have a lot of these suckers. So we have our protein cake, we have our protein mousse, we have our white beans, we have just plain old cottage cheese, we have our cottage cheese toast, we have our packets of yogurt, we have our hummus, we have some tuna. These are just thought-provoking ideas. There's so many other options for protein. But I want you to be thinking of, what can I do to up my protein levels? So many women that I work with struggle so much with getting enough protein in, that it's really important that we're conscious of what we are putting in there, so that we can make sure we get to that at least minimum level of protein. And I love these options, because not only are they tasty, you can take them to go, and it helps you meet your goals. Because our inner athlete needs that fuel to keep on pumping. So let's go, girls. Let's get those muscles working. Let's fuel our bodies. Have a great day. And if you like this episode, I would ask you please to leave a review, leave some stars. I really appreciate it. Share it if you want to, and we'll just keep moving forward, all of us. All right, let's live our best life in our 90-year-old selves, okay? Love y'all. Okay, I lied. I thought we were done. I forgot the hard-boiled eggs. So I want to show you what they look like and how beautiful they are and how easy they are to peel. Because that seems to be the challenge for everybody, is getting the peel off your eggs. Here we go. Now, after they were done cooking, I sat them in some ice water to get them all nice and easy to peel. So we're going to take this knife here, wipe it off for a second,
I'm going to show you how beautiful that yolk is. It's nice and yellow, no green ring. It's perfect. So here we go. Perfect. All right. I hope I've inspired you. Go cook.